I somehow always wanted to build electric inline skates. So I finally did it. Essentially, we just need to attach a motor to inline skates. How hard can it be? There are two options. A motor, which is attached to the wheel with 2 gears and a pulley, or we stick the motor directly into the wheel. Now the gear and pulley option is way better. We convert the high speed of the motor to more torque, which we desperately need to accelerate the heavy weight, which is, yeah, well, myself. But this option requires way more space, and I really want them to be self-contained, so I'm kinda stuck with option 2 to put the motors directly into the wheel, which is also somehow a bit cooler. Now this is not really the way you want to build a hub motor. This is more the scuffed backyard variant. As nobody really sells hub motors for electric inline skates, I'm kinda stuck to building them myself. I'm using big ball bearings to alleviate most of the weight which would press on the motor, which we really don't want. And so I more or less have double bearings. The motor itself has bearings, and I use bigger bearings outside to take the weight of my body, so that it hopefully doesn't destroy the motor, but we will really see about that. To control these type of motors, we need a ESC, an electric speed controller, which converts the direct current of a battery into a varying 3-phase signal, which controls the speed of the motor. The ESC is connected to an Arduino Nano with a RF radio module installed. This little module can transmit data over the air, so I can connect a remote to it. Now all the parts for my inline skates were 3D printed. They are printed out of a quite durable plastic, which is a carbon fiber reinforced nylon, which is really stiff. But still, it is plastic. So, let's see how this goes. Then I just put in a lithium-ion battery and some controls, and we are ready to rock. Let's take them out. As you might be able to tell by my, well, attire, I wasn't really confident in the stability of my own creation. So the first observation I made is that compared to normal inline skates, where you just hold your feet next to each other, you really have to have one foot in front, or else you cannot stabilize the acceleration and it will just fall. So it's kind of awkward to stand like this and in ice skate. But it's the only way to not fall. Woo! And it's super fast. Jesus Christ. Let's slow down, decelerate. And we start. Whew. So also having a brake is very nice, because if you don't skate very well like I do, braking is kind of hard with inline skates. For you guys to see, I just measured the top speed and it was 37 kilometers per hour, and I really have to say that is hecking scary. So even if I could, which I can, I still limited like the current to 20 amps. I could drive faster, but you really don't want to, or at least I don't want to. Yeah, but first impressions are like they ride really smooth, real nice. Like if I wouldn't know I'm riding on plastic, I couldn't say so. The brakes work great, and once you get used to like riding like this with one leg forward, which is kind of unnatural at first, but once you get used to it, it's actually really nice. And yeah, the acceleration is great. I can just drive around. I still have to measure how much uphill I can climb, but here we have a small slope, and yeah, the slope is not even, I can't even feel it. Yeah, it's I'm pleasantly surprised. Let's give you another view of the acceleration. I start and now I go, and now I'm getting faster. And it just gradually goes up to more and more speed. And now we are approaching full speed. Woo! Et voila! I have to change the braking power a bit. I think we can decelerate a bit faster, but I just didn't want to fall on the first try, so I took it a bit easier and had small values to start off with. But yeah, so far so good. So some closing remarks to the project. I'm honestly surprised how well those worked. I expected them to somehow not even be able to accelerate me at all, or just completely break once I stepped on them. But for the amount I've tested them, they worked great. But there were some issues. For one, the motors get really hot. I pretty much enclosed them in plastic. I would have to rework the design somehow to incorporate some kind of airflow through the motor to cool it down. And overall, it's just really scary to drive with those things. They are pretty cool, don't get me wrong, and I've always dreamt to drive something like that. But compared to the electric longboard I've built in another video, linked to here, I just feel way more safer on a longboard than on inline skates. But yeah, I kind of been motivated by a show that I watched as a kid to build these things. I was watching the show and I was like, whoa, that's really cool, I wanna also have that. And now that I'm older, I just built it. How amazing is that? So, if you want to see more projects like this, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out. And hopefully, see you in the next video.